This is the 2026 Nissan Kicks SV. Is it the ultimate subcompact crossover? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. We borrowed this Nissan Kicks from our friends at Or Nissan in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video. And yes, I know it is covered in pollen. If we sprayed it off, if I had the ability to spray it off before we left the dealership, it'd probably be covered by the time we get finished with the video. They don't have an automated car wash there, so you'll just have to ignore that. My apologies. When it comes to the overall looks of the Kicks, it has a nice look to it. Very sporty looking, nice lines. You will find your full LED lighting, LED headlights, low and high beams, LED daytime running lights, also LED turn signal indicators. And if you look at how everything is designed here and how it all flows from right here into the grille area, it just has a nice pleasing look to it. The Nissan badge right here, perfectly placed, perfectly sized, not too big, not too small. Gonna have your upper and your lower grills here. Now, you can go with front wheel drive, which is what we have in this particular case, but all wheel drive is available for those of you who need such a thing or just desire that. Tell me what you think about the overall design of these 17-inch wheels. A little bit of a different, unique look. Almost looks like a wheel design you would see, or at least the covers on an EV. Obviously, this is not an EV, but just one of those things that looks very similar. The Kicks logo or name will be right here, and then we'll work our way up. We're gonna have our nice fender flares right here. The surround on the fenders works its way all the way around the body with the trim work. Nice that that's a matte finish and not body color. I think it works better that way. Definitely not gloss black. That's a good thing. Now, on this trim level, it is a very inexpensive vehicle for this day and age. So you're not going to have things such as power folding side view mirrors. They're manually folding. No turn signal indicators built in. But everything else is here. They're power adjustable, well, not heated, so one other thing that isn't here, power adjustable, and they do have blind spot monitoring built in, so that's gonna be nice. Gonna have your passive entry button right there on the front door handles, only on the front door handles, not on the rear. And then we work our way up. Now you're not gonna have a sunroof in this case, but you will have the roof rails, so if you want the crossbars, you can attach those and give yourself a little bit of extra cargo space. Obviously, this is not a large SUV. You're gonna have the shark fin antenna up top, the rear roof spoiler finishing things off here in the rear, and then our exposed rear window wiper. LED lighting again on the rear with the LED taillights and the LED turn signal indicators. Under the hood is the dual overhead cam, naturally aspirated, 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It makes 141 horsepower, 140 pounds-feet of torque. It is mated to a CVT. That's the one thing. I do wish there was a multi-speed transmission here. 0 to 60, about 9 seconds flat. Top speed, you might get to 120 miles per hour. One thing that I will say that is very nice here is that everything is easily accessible. You can change your battery very easily if you need to without having to remove a bunch of parts and pieces. All of that's here. Obviously, your windshield washer reservoir for your fluid is over there. That's going to be nice and easy to get to. Now, let's go over here to the window sticker. Typically kind of hard to see no matter the situation, so I'm just going to read these numbers off to you. We're looking at 28 city, 35 highway, 31 combined, and 3.2 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. Not guaranteed numbers. You might be above, you might be below. Share with us in the comments what kind of MPGs you're getting with your Nissan Kicks. And how about your gas tank details? Well, we're going to let you see what we have going on here. You do have capless fuel fill. The gas tank size is 11.9 gallons if you go front wheel drive. You can drive about 330 miles on a full tank of gas. Now, if you go all-wheel drive, you're looking at 335 miles. When it comes to towing, well, it's not actually rated to tow, so I can't give you a number. Now, in this particular case, we're going to have the manual tailgate. Push the button on there, give it a little bit of help, the dampening takes over, and you can gain access to your cargo space. It ranges between 30 cubic feet. If you fold the rear seats flat, as we have done for the purpose of the video, it goes up to 60 cubic feet. And you have a little bit of cargo area lighting back here on one side right here. That's going to be helpful to you after dark, actually on both sides. Not super bright, but you know what? It's probably brighter than it looks right now when it's after dark. The one thing that's missing here, just so you know, is that you do not have a spare tire. There is a tire repair kit. And as far as the back seat goes, not a whole lot to talk about back here. There is a decent amount of headroom. I'm 5'10", got a little bit of space above my head. The oh crap handles are here for when the driver drops the hammer on 141 horsepower. We do have a decent size armrest. We'll show you that over there on the passenger side. And the only downside to that for me is that it is plastic, so there's no padding on there. Yeah, that still seems to be pretty comfortable. Not sure how that goes long term, but that's what's here. And we have a door bin down there / bottle holder that you saw just then. Other than that, that's about it back here. No USBs, no air conditioning vents, no fold down armrest with cup holders built in, but you do have the rear seat pocket right here on the back of the passenger side seat. I will say that I do like the sportiness of the design of the seats right here. You do have your cloth interior. Some people tell me that cloth interior is outdated. Tell me what you think. How about that all-important sticker price? Well, it's not bad, at least for this day and age. $26,195. Let's see what else you get for the price. Not a whole lot to talk about here with the upper console area. We just have our lights, and I have that. Not too much else going on here. You can turn your lights on like that if you want to. Depends on what you need to do. Now, we'll move our way down to the glove box area over there. Open that glove box up and show you what's there. It's nothing out of the ordinary. A little bit of space in there. So you'll find that. And nice looking dash area. I like the design. It looks modern, looks nice, but not an overload. It just has a nice sporty look to it. And as far as the armrests go, bigger, a little bit of padding in this particular case, and the larger door bin for these front doors. Nothing out of the ordinary to have those larger spaces. Now let's take a look at what we have over here on the driver's side, and that will include the controls for our locks, our power side view mirrors. You can choose whichever side you need to adjust. We're going to have the one touch down and one touch up, believe it or not, at all 4 doors. Not too bad for a little over $26,000. If you need to lock those windows, there's the button to do that. And then right down here is where we find our hood release, if you need to use that. And then this release allows for adjusting the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Speaking of the steering wheel, here are your steering wheel mounted controls. Everything for cruise control will be right there. And then voice commands, you know it all is there. Over here on the left-hand side, you can adjust everything to do with the radio, and you can even arrow over and go through a few different details depending on what you need to know about. You can push the scroll wheel and come in here and select whatever you need to in the settings menu. When we're ready to get out of that, we can just arrow back out of it. You can see a couple of different things here. One thing to note is right here that you have the tire pressure monitor. That will give you all of the details when you start driving. So if you're wondering about that, that is the situation. And right down here is the drive mode selector. I'm just going to run through that real fast for you. You've got standard, eco, and sport. Funny thing how you have the drive mode selector on the screen right there. I guess that's so you know for sure you're using the right thing. But overall, a very nice modern look with the driver's display. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll have the controls for your exterior lighting. You can just leave that on auto if you want to. It also lets you know what's going on the screen, depending on what you're doing there. We'll leave that on auto. One thing you can't have on auto, you have to activate them manually, and I know it's a lot of work, but the turn signal indicators, your blinkers, that's how you use those, by using this lever. Turning to the left, changing lanes to the left, you push it down. The same thing for the right when you push it up like that. It is a lot of work. I know, that's why so few people use them these days, right? Front and rear window wiper controls right here. That's pretty self-explanatory. Now we'll move on to our center screen. And for the price point here, I think you get a lot and a nice modern look for the screen, considering what you're paying for this vehicle. Now, if we want to see our icons, here's the good news, is you don't have an overload of details to work with right here. You've got the very few icons here. We can go to all settings, Now you do have more here than what I'm showing you right there. If you need your settings, here's where you're going to come. But again, not an overload. It works really well. We'll just go into one of the menus here. Not too much going on as far as that goes. We can select right there to go back, and then we come to our display right here. Depending on what you need to do, you can adjust the brightness and come right there. Pretty self-explanatory, I'd say. I don't need to show you too much where that's going on. And we only have one camera view. That shouldn't be a surprise at less than $30,000, but it does give you that rear view camera, so you're going to have that. And then we're going to work our way down to the air conditioning vents. You have the controls for your radio right here. Volume, you can turn it on and off. Volume control right here. Go back and forth between what you're listening to. And then we have our single zone climate control. Everything is right here for that. You got the digital readout for your temperature. You adjust that on the left, fan speed over there on the right, and then you can see what else you have here. Now you can wirelessly pair your smartphone, so that's a good thing. You also have your dual USB ports right here. We have our charging pad, actually a wireless charging pad right there, and then our button to turn the engine on and back off. Your power parking brake is right here. An auto hold or brake hold is what that's often referred to as. Your drive mode selector is going to be right there in case you needed to see that. And then we just come right here all the way back. We can go to drive, we can go to neutral, reverse, and park. Nice to have that more conventional shifter as opposed to a push button shifter. A lot of people don't seem to like that. And then we're going to have our cup holders right here. I do like the absence of any kind of a gloss finish here because if you're touching it with your fingers, it's not fingerprinting up, so that works out well. And the center console lid could be used as an armrest, depending on how big you and your passenger's arms are, if you want to have them both up there. And then a little bit of space within the center console, and one more little goodie down here. There's also a 12-volt power outlet. All right, here we go on the test drive. I promised my cameraman that I would not scare him with all of this horsepower, so I have to keep my word. 141 horsepower. So easing into the pedal, I'm not going to get on it too hard, but he didn't have any trouble getting up to speed. But I don't think anybody buys a Kicks looking for high performance, neck snapping power. But it does seem to get the job done okay as far as getting up to speed, getting down the road. It's actually very smooth in its operation. The ride quality is pretty good, just a little choppy on this particular road. That's one of the things with a shorter wheelbase vehicle. Often you're going to get that effect where the ride quality isn't quite as smooth as you would like to have it, but it's not terrible. The seats themselves seem to be pretty comfortable, although I'm not spending a ridiculous amount of time in the driver's seat for this video because we're just doing a quick little test drive. Maybe some of you can share down in the comments section what your experience is in a longer situation of driving the Kicks. But overall, there actually is a reasonable amount of space here in the driver's area in the front seat. One thing I did not mention earlier in the video is the fact that neither seat is power adjustable. Both are manually adjustable. A little bit more adjustability built into the driver's seat than into the passenger seat, so that you can raise and lower the seat. Obviously, you can adjust the steering wheel. So there is a nice amount of adjustability here. So anybody who's 6 feet tall or maybe around 5 feet tall will be able to adjust everything to where they are nice and comfortable. The controls are easy to get to and easy to learn, and that's always a good thing. A little bit of storage around. Not a large SUV, so you wouldn't expect to necessarily have a lot of space here, but it still gets the job done quite nicely as far as the overall usability. And for those of you who are looking for something that will help you out in the snow and ice, if you're dealing with that throughout the year, obviously the Kicks will do the job for you where that's concerned. You just need to go with the all-wheel drive version compared to this front-wheel drive version. Okay, tell me what you think about the 2026 Nissan Kicks SV. Is it the ultimate subcompact crossover? It's actually a very simplistic vehicle, so for a lot of people, that does qualify as the ultimate, something that's a little over $26,000. but I'm curious to know what all of you think. Tell me down in the comments section. I would like to say a special thanks to our friends at Nissan for loaning us this Kicks for the day so we can tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful to us. Make sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and we'll see you there.